A successful businessman, Nathaniel Reynolds, hires Emily Parker, a young woman from humble backgrounds, to pretend to be his fiancée and deceive his family. What seemed like a simple arrangement soon turns into a plot full of mysteries, dark secrets, and unexpected threats. Nathaniel and Emily's journey, initially marked by formality, intensifies as shocking revelations emerge, transforming the arrangement into a battle for the truth. Nathaniel, trapped in a life of luxury but devoid of meaning, is confronted by his loneliness, while Emily, struggling to survive in Brooklyn, sees her life change when she enters Nathaniel's glamorous world. This is a story of resilience, intrigue and unexpected human connections, set against the backdrop of the imposing New York. Don't miss this thrilling narrative full of remarkable encounters and shocking revelations. Emily was struggling to make ends meet, caring for her ailing mother and struggling to pay the bills. Despite the challenges, she kept a silent hope alive that something positive would happen in her life. Every night, after ensuring her mother's comfort, she dreamed of a better future. Her destiny took an unexpected turn when she crossed paths with Nathaniel Reynolds. His family was pressuring him to find a bride, fearing for the continuity of the family line and fortune. Tired of the intrigues and attempts by his brothers to claim his share of the inheritance, Nathaniel had an unusual idea: to hire someone to pretend to be his bride. After careful research, he found Emily, who seemed perfect for the role, discreet, intelligent and, most importantly, desperate for money. When he called her for a meeting, Emily nervously put on her best, albeit simple, clothes and went to the luxurious building where Nathaniel worked. Upon entering his sophisticated office, she was greeted with a brief smile. Nathaniel got straight to the point: "I need someone to pretend to be my fiancée for a few months. In exchange, I will take care of your financial needs." Surprised, Emily questioned why he had chosen her, and Nathaniel explained that she was perfect for the role because she had no ties that would complicate the situation. The offer was tempting, especially given Emily's desperate financial situation. After thinking it over, she accepted the proposal, knowing that it could change her life. Her role would be simple: accompany him to events, meet his family and act as his fiancée, learning the basics about Nathaniel's life to make everything convincing. In exchange, he would ensure her financial stability and help her mother. The deal was sealed with a handshake, beginning an unexpected alliance between the wealthy businessman and the humble young woman. The first days of this new life were intense for Emily. She now lived in an elegant apartment provided by Nathaniel, with a new wardrobe and attending events with him. However, the adjustment was difficult. Each social event was a test of her ability to play the role of the perfect bride, requiring her to study the Reynolds family history and Nathaniel's business dealings to avoid making mistakes. During one gala, she was introduced to Nathaniel's demanding and conservative parents, and felt the weight of responsibility to impress them as Nathaniel chatted away. During the event, Emily was approached by her future mother-in-law, who immediately asked her a direct question. "So, Emily, tell me more about yourself," Mrs. Reynolds said, her eyes searching. Although she tried to maintain her composure, Emily could not hide her discomfort under that critical gaze. "Well, I grew up in Brooklyn and went to public school. I always worked hard to help my mother," she replied cautiously. "Interesting," Mrs. Reynolds muttered, visibly disappointed. "Nathaniel never told us much about you." Before Emily could say more, Nathaniel approached, sensing the tense atmosphere. "Mom, Dad, we have something important to tell you," he announced, drawing everyone's attention. "We're engaged." The awkward silence was quickly replaced by murmurs of surprise. Mrs. Reynolds' expression hardened, but before she could react, Nathaniel's ex-girlfriend, Claire, walked in unexpectedly. "I can't believe it!" Claire exclaimed, marching toward the couple. "You're engaged and you didn't tell me?" Visibly uncomfortable, Nathaniel tried to maintain his composure. "Claire, this is not the time or place for this." Ignoring him, Claire turned to Emily with anger in her eyes. "And you? What are you doing here? You don't belong here." Emily felt the ground crumble beneath her feet as a wave of despair washed over her, but she decided to stand her ground. "I'm here because Nathaniel chose me, and I'll do my best to be worthy of it." The situation quickly became untenable, prompting Nathaniel to end the party early. Back at the apartment, Emily felt devastated. "It was a disaster," she said with a shaky voice. "It wasn't that bad," Nathaniel replied, trying to comfort her. "You handled it well with Claire, and my parents just need time to accept everything." Emily, still shaken, confessed, "I don't know if I can do this. It's all so hard and strange." Nathaniel stopped the car and held her hand. "I know it's not easy, but I believe in you. We have to keep going." These words gave Emily renewed strength of will. She knew the road ahead would be tough, but she was determined to face the challenges. Even so, she could not foresee the surprises that fate still had in store. Over the next few weeks, Emily began to feel more comfortable in her role. Nathaniel helped her understand the family business and history, and together they began to build a convincing public image. She couldn't help but notice that her feelings for Nathaniel were growing stronger, although she was aware that he might not feel the same way. One weekend, Nathaniel decided to take her to the family's country house, a quiet and secluded place, ideal for them to get to know each other better, away from the pressures of the city. As they explored the property, Emily marveled at the beauty of the place and the stories Nathaniel shared. "This place is amazing," she said. "I didn't know you had so many memories here." "Yes," Nathaniel replied with a nostalgic smile. "I spent my childhood here with my parents and siblings. It was our refuge, and now I think it can be ours too." That night, they had dinner under the stars, and Emily noticed that Nathaniel was more relaxed and open than usual. It seemed like there was something he wanted to share, but he didn't know how to begin. With other guests present, Emily was approached by her future mother-in-law. "So, Emily, tell me more about yourself," Mrs. Reynolds said, her gaze fixed and pointed. Emily tried to maintain a confident posture, but she couldn't help but feel uncomfortable under the woman's critical gaze. "Well, I grew up in Brooklyn and went to public school. I always worked hard to help my mother," she replied. "Interesting," Mrs. Reynolds interrupted, looking disappointed. "Nathaniel never told us much about you." Before Emily could continue, Nathaniel joined the conversation, sensing the tension in the air. "Mom, Dad, Emily and I have something important to tell you," he announced, drawing everyone's attention. "We're engaged." An uncomfortable silence fell over the room, followed by murmurs of surprise. Mrs. Reynolds's expression hardened, but before she could say anything, an unexpected guest entered the room, Claire, Nathaniel's ex-girlfriend. "I can't believe this," Claire exclaimed, quickly approaching Emily and Nathaniel. "You're engaged and you didn't tell me?" Nathaniel, visibly uncomfortable, tried to remain calm. "Claire, this is not the time or place for this," he replied. Ignoring him, Claire turned to Emily, her eyes flashing with anger. "And you? What are you doing here? You don't belong in this world." Emily felt the ground disappear from under her feet, but despite her frustration and despair, she stood her ground. "I'm here because Nathaniel chose me, and I'll do my best to live up to it," she replied with determination. The situation became untenable, and Nathaniel decided to end the party early. At home, Emily felt defeated. "It was a disaster," she said, her voice shaking. "It wasn't that bad," Nathaniel replied, trying to calm her down. "You handled it well with Claire, and my parents just need time to get used to it." Emily, however, was shaken. "I don't know if I can handle this," she confessed, tears beginning to well up. Nathaniel stopped the car and held her hand. "I know it's not easy, but we have to keep going. I believe in you." Those words gave Emily new strength, and she knew the road ahead would be full of challenges, but she was determined to move forward and prove that she could be more than just a temporary fiancée. As the weeks passed, Emily began to feel more comfortable in her new role. Nathaniel helped her understand the family business and history better, and together they began to build a convincing public image. Although her feelings for Nathaniel began to grow, she knew they were probably unrequited. One weekend, Nathaniel took her to the family's country house, a secluded and peaceful place to get to know each other better, away from the prying eyes of the city. Emily was enchanted by the place and the stories Nathaniel told her about his memories there. "This place is incredible," Emily said. "I didn't know you had so many memories here." Nathaniel smiled nostalgically. "Yes, I grew up coming here with my family. It was our refuge, and now I think it can be ours too." That night, as they ate dinner under the stars, Emily noticed that Nathaniel was different, more introspective. "You seem thoughtful today, are you okay?" she asked. An afternoon at the doctor's office brought unexpected news. "Nathaniel, your tests show significant improvement," Dr. Carter said with a smile. "With proper treatment, you can live a long and healthy life." Relief washed over Nathaniel and Emily, who hugged, feeling that they could finally look forward to a future without constant fear. That evening, they celebrated with a special dinner, reflecting on all they had overcome together. As they toasted to the future, the door to the apartment opened and Claire walked in holding an envelope. "Sorry to intrude, but I think this might be important," Claire said, handing the envelope to Emily. Curious, she opened it and found a letter written by Nathaniel's father, years before his death. The letter revealed a surprising secret: Nathaniel had a half-brother, from a relationship his father had with him. This half-brother was none other than Victor Caldwell. The revelation shocked Emily and Nathaniel. Nathaniel had always felt that something connected him to Caldwell, but he had never imagined that they were related. "This changes everything," Nathaniel murmured, still trying to process the discovery. Emily squeezed his hand, offering support. "We'll get through this together, no matter what." With the truth about their relationship revealed, Nathaniel decided to visit Caldwell in prison, seeking to understand his motivations and, perhaps, find a path to reconciliation. Emily accompanied him, ready to face this situation with him. In prison, Caldwell seemed dejected, but when he saw Nathaniel, a spark of surprise flashed in his eyes. "What do you want?" Caldwell asked. "I want to understand why you did all this," Nathaniel replied firmly. "And I want you to know that, despite everything, we are brothers. We shouldn't be enemies." Caldwell was silent for a moment, reflecting. "I did what I did because I always felt abandoned by our father. I thought he preferred you. But now I realize that revenge only brought pain to everyone." The conversation between the two was tense, but, in the end, Nathaniel felt a weight lifted from his shoulders. Caldwell promised to cooperate with the authorities and try to repair the damage done. Back at the apartment, Emily and Nathaniel embraced, feeling that a new chapter was about to begin. They knew that there were still challenges ahead, but they were ready to face them, together. In the months that followed, Emily and Nathaniel's lives experienced a period of renewal. With Nathaniel's health stable and the legal issues resolved, they were finally able to focus on building a future. Emily decided to go back to school, with Nathaniel's support, who encouraged her to pursue her dreams. Their relationship grew stronger every day, and Nathaniel realized that he could no longer imagine life without Emily by his side. He decided it was time to propose a real commitment. In the same country house where it all began, under the starry sky, Nathaniel prepared a special dinner. Getting down on one knee with a ring in his hand, he asked, "Emily, you made me believe in love again. Will you marry me, this time for real?" With tears in her eyes, Emily replied without hesitation, "Yes, Nathaniel. I want to spend the rest of my life with you." The wedding was an intimate celebration, surrounded by their closest friends and family, even Claire. The friend who had become so close was present at the ceremony, which, although simple, was filled with love and emotion, symbolizing the beginning of a new chapter for the couple. After the ceremony, as they danced under the glow of the full moon, Nathaniel whispered in Emily's ear, "We've been through so much, but we've finally found our peace. I look forward to living every moment with you." Emily smiled, feeling truly happy for the first time in a long time. "Me too, Nathaniel. Together, we can face any challenge. Life continued to bring both obstacles and moments of joy, but Emily and Nathaniel were ready to face everything with courage and love. The hardships and lies of the past were left behind, and the future opened up before them, full of promises of happiness and fulfillment. Thus, the unexpected union between a successful businessman and a young woman from humble origins turned into a true love story, proving that even in the most difficult circumstances, love and determination can find their way to happiness.